we talked about this.
Advocacy and
Yeah, advocacy and awareness raising. I think we can combine those because I think we've talked time and time again about you can have all the policies in the world, but if people aren't there to monitor or to police the implementation of these things and ensure that they are constantly being incorporated, it's just not going to mean anything. Even legislation.
right.
So
We don't have any political will if you haven't raised
Regional and national.
yeah. So whether we put it
Regional and national.
we put
Specific information. Can we have information, the information, dissemination information on the edit product? Does that include information here?
so you want information dissemination?
Yeah, something like that.
Let's just do this.
I don't know, but in the Pacific, it's
It's
one
okay,
of the
no.
hardest things to explain to people. Climate change, you can explain it in 10 sentences and people don't still know what it is. There's no way to come, there's no way to come. In the monoculture emissions, yeah.
Another issue that it's important, but I think it's underlying to all of this, is we have a tendency now because of all this global movement to blame everything on climate change. But climate change is not our only vulnerability. We need to understand the underlying causes of our vulnerability and then the climate change scenario. Because the solutions we are developing, to make the solutions sustainable, we need to understand our vulnerability factors. So we need to, that's a real challenge to us.
Does that relate to your first point with the DRR and the CCA really being the same thing in the Pacific? Because you're doing the risk and vulnerability assessments for the island to really help identify the key areas also that are vulnerable for climate change issues.
Or do you want to
So how do you want to elaborate on this a little bit more then? Definitely.
Well, I just have to,
relates to what Nita said. I think it's a good point because if you look at the Pacific and how it is sold in the media or wherever when there's a debate on climate change or disaster, is that we say everything is because of climate change, and even our ministries say, well, we need funding because we're going to be so badly affected by climate change. And I think you hit the spot when you said we actually have to look, why are we so vulnerable, and really look into our development activities and how they contribute actually for making us vulnerable, and then target those activities. And I mean, there's a lot of things to do, but I think that's a very good point. But then we also have to look, I think, in the maybe sensitization, or I don't know how you want to call it, because climate change after disaster risk reduction, disaster risk management is what do you want to call it? Something that is, when you talk about climate change, and now also gender, it becomes this donor easily like it. It's attractive, we spend money on this, and then again, if you look at the Pacific, like DRM and climate change, it's still not really, we're still not really working together, and it, I mean, there is this great report from the Teal Fund, who is actually looking how does it come that we as DRM practitioners are not working with the climate change expert, or the other way around. It comes really down to the point because of funding instruments and things like that. So I think we really also have to have a better understanding of look how we can coordinate our work together and we're just overlapping so much. I think
that's
we
what it
need
comes
in
down to.
in the future to better coordinate our initiatives that we're doing to just avoid this duplication.
Can I suggest some wording to the go up? So what we are saying here is for Pacific Island countries to understand the underlying causes of vulnerability in the face of climate change. And that with that understanding we will be able to develop sustainable solutions to our problems. I think that's
Understanding.
the underlying causes, of vulnerability.
Well, yeah.
I mean, put it all in one sentence,
Because I think
in the face of climate change.
this is also
And then you can
message.
put in the
Because you've got that need to look at specific development activities and how they contribute to the regional
Yes, because when
vulnerability.
you look at the underlying causes, you analyze your development.
Yeah.
And I think also that is probably what makes it simpler to communicate with the villages or communities is if we show them, look, because you're cutting the mangroves or something, you're actually contributing with your activities to your vulnerability rather than having our language and saying, oh, it's climate change and nobody understands the real root causes, so.
Vulnerability in the face of climate change and disaster.